Alright, let's dive into something that's been blowing up lately, the multi-billion-dollar peptide industry. Now, if you're like me, you might have heard the buzz but aren't entirely sure what's going on. Peptides, those tiny chains of amino acids, are everywhere now, from skincare to fitness supplements. But here's the kicker, while some of these products are legit game changers, others are basically snake oil. And that's where things get interesting. Personally, I think what makes this really fascinating is how quickly the industry has exploded without much public understanding of what peptides actually do. It's like we're all riding a hype train without checking the destination. What many people don't realize is that peptides aren't just one thing, they're a category with wildly different uses and risks. Some are backed by solid science, while others are just marketing gimmicks. If you take a step back and think about it, this raises a deeper question: how do we separate the breakthroughs from the BS in an industry moving this fast? Let's break it down. First, let's talk about what's actually working. In my opinion, the most promising area is medical peptides. Think treatments for diabetes, skin conditions, or even cancer. These aren't your over-the-counter creams, they are FDA-approved, clinically tested compounds. A detail I find fascinating is how specific these peptides are. For example, certain peptides can target only cancer cells, leaving healthy cells untouched. That's a massive leap forward in precision medicine. But here's the catch: these aren't cheap, and they are often inaccessible to the average person. What this really suggests is that while peptides can revolutionize healthcare, they are not a democratized solution yet. It's a reminder that innovation doesn't always equal accessibility. Now, let's shift to the consumer side, where things get messy. The skincare and fitness markets are flooded with peptide products promising everything from wrinkle-free skin to ripped abs. Personally, I'm skeptical. One thing that immediately stands out is the lack of regulation. Unlike pharmaceuticals, these products don't need rigorous testing before hitting shelves. What many people don't realize is that even if a peptide can do something in a lab, it doesn't mean it'll work in a cream or pill. Your skin's barrier, for instance, is tough to penetrate. Most peptides in skincare probably aren't making it past the surface. From my perspective, this is where the line between science and marketing blurs. Companies are leveraging their word peptide to sound cutting edge, even if the product's effectiveness is questionable. If you take a step back and think about it, it's a classic case of selling hope over results. But here's where it gets worrisome: the risks. Experts are raising alarms about long-term safety, especially with peptides in supplements. Some peptides can mess with your hormones or immune system, and we don't fully understand the consequences yet. What makes this really interesting is how little consumers know about these risks. People assume natural or science-backed means safe, but that's not always true. In my opinion, this is a ticking time bomb. As the industry grows, so does the potential for harm, especially if people start self-medicating with peptides they don't fully understand. This raises a deeper question: who's responsible for educating consumers? Is it the companies, regulators, or us as individuals? Finally, let's zoom out to the bigger picture. The peptide boom is part of a larger trend: our obsession with biohacking and quick fixes. Personally, I think this reflects a broader cultural shift toward wanting instant results, whether it's in health, beauty, or performance. What this really suggests is that we're outsourcing our well-being to science without fully grasping the implications. Are peptides the future? Maybe. But in my opinion, we need to slow down and ask the right questions. What's the cost of innovation? Who benefits? And what are we willing to risk for a promise of perfection? So, here's my takeaway: peptides are undeniably powerful, but they are not a magic bullet. The industry's potential is massive, but so are the pitfalls. As consumers, we need to be smarter, more skeptical, and more informed. And as a society, we need to have a real conversation about where we draw the line between progress and profiteering. What do you think? Are peptides the next big thing, or just another overhyped trend? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to hear your take.